Warmest greetings to all basketball enthusiasts. Given the packed NBA lineup, we've split our daily game predictions into two engaging sections for ease of access. Delve into both parts, available in both Spanish and English, exclusively on our Tips and Streams YouTube channel. Get ready for the detailed breakdown of today's exciting matchups. The next prediction is for the match between Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks. The Chicago Bulls, with a modest 15-20 tally, are diving into the high-stakes arena of Madison Square Garden, fresh off a grueling back-to-back challenge. This season has been tough on them in such scenarios, as evidenced by their 2-4 record in consecutive games. Injuries have hit them hard, sidelining pivotal players like Vucevic, Levine, Ball, and Craig. Averaging 109.88 points per game, their shooting stats show a 45.50% success rate in field goals and 35.92% in threes. Despite these hurdles, the Bulls have displayed grit, particularly in betting circles, going 12-4 against the spread in their recent 16 matches, showcasing their ability to spring surprises. On the flip side, the New York Knicks are slightly ahead this season with an 18-15 record. They're scoring an average of 115.24 points per game, with a 46.42% field goal rate and 37.44% in three-pointers, making them a formidable opponent on their home court. In the rebound department, the Knicks have a slight edge with 45.15 rebounds per game compared to the Bulls' 43.15, hinting at a potential upper hand in controlling the game's pace. In their direct confrontations, the Bulls have had mixed results against the Knicks, clinching wins and covering the spread in just 2 of their last 6 visits to New York. The Knicks' clear injury slate gives them a significant physical advantage over the beleaguered Bulls. Focusing on recent trends, the Bulls have been reliable in covering the spread on the road with a 5-1 record in their last 6 away matches, yet they've been less effective against Atlantic Division teams, with the total score going under in 11 out of 15 matches against such rivals. Conversely, the Knicks have shown strength at home, securing a 5-1 record in their latest 6 home games. They've also been successful in covering the spread in 10 of their last 14 home games against Central Division teams, including the Bulls. To sum up, the Bulls' injury problems, their struggle in back-to-back games this season, and the Knicks' strong home performance tilt the odds towards the New York Knicks. The Knicks' superior offensive stats, home advantage, and the Bulls' weakened roster hint at not just a Knicks victory, but also a cover of the minus 9-point spread. In this high-stakes game, the Knicks emerge as the likely victors. My bet is on the New York Knicks to triumph and cover the minus 9-point spread. The next prediction is for the match between Portland Trailblazers and Dallas Mavericks. The Portland Trailblazers are in a tough spot, holding a 9-23 record. They're riding a rough patch, having dropped 11 of their last 14 games. The road's been especially brutal for them, with a 13-game losing streak against Western Conference rivals away from home. They're netting an average of 108.8 points a game, shooting 43.8% from the field, and 35.6% from downtown. Yet their defense is raising alarms, giving up shots at a 49.0% clip. Players like Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons need to step up, but the team's current vibe signals a bumpy road ahead. In contrast, the Dallas Mavericks, with their 19-15 record, are on a more solid trajectory. Knocking down 118.3 points per game at a 46.9% clip, their offensive firepower is on full display. The duo of Luka Doncic, dropping 33.4 points and dishing 9.4 assists, and Kyrie Irving is a force to reckon with. Their 36.5% three-point shooting and a slight rebounding edge over Portland underline their strengths. Looking at recent faceoffs in Dallas, the Blazers have snagged 2 wins in the last 6, covering the spread in half of those, but considering the current momentum and the Mavs' superior offense and defense stats, Dallas seems to have the upper hand in this showdown. Injuries also play a big part. Portland's missing Robert Williams and has doubts over DeAndre Ayton, Anthony Simons, and Toumani Camara. Dallas, despite losing Maxi Kleber, could see Dante Exum's comeback, reinforcing their already formidable lineup. Betting odds and expert predictions mostly tilt towards the Mavericks. Projections range from a nail-biter to a more decisive Dallas win, but the consensus is leaning towards a Mavericks triumph. Wrapping it up, my call is a win for the Dallas Mavericks. They outplayed the Blazers by 11 points on the road recently and are looking stronger with Kyrie back. After the sting of the Utah Jazz defeat, the Mavs are hungry for a comeback. I'm betting on Dallas to clinch the win and cover the 10.5-point spread. The next prediction is for the match between Los Angeles Clippers and Phoenix Suns. Tonight's epic face-off on the hardwood is between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns at Arizona's Footprint Center, and it's shaping up to be a slam dunk of a game. The Clippers, riding high with a solid 2012 record, have been tearing up the court, bagging 12 wins out of their last 14 games. They're shooting for their fourth straight victory, hot off a sizzling 121-104 triumph over the Miami Heat. The dynamic duo of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are the linchpins of the Clippers' winning spree. Leonard dazzled with 24 points and 5 assists, while George racked up 23 points in their latest victory. The Phoenix Suns, not far behind with an 18-15 record, have been a bit of a mixed bag lately. They're known for lighting up the scoreboard, averaging 115.56 points per game, just shy of the Clippers' 115.84. But they're ahead in field goal precision, boasting a 48.20% success rate compared to the Clippers' 46.66%. The Suns also shine from beyond the arc with a solid 36.45% in three-pointers, though the Clippers have the upper hand here with 37.92%. In terms of player showdowns, the spotlight is on the Clippers' Paul George and the Suns' Devin Booker. George, with an average of 22.9 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 4 assists, is set to battle it out with Booker's impressive 27.1 points and 8 assists per game. This matchup is guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser, with George's defensive prowess up against Booker's offensive onslaught. Looking at the trends, the Clippers are on a roll, going 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 and dominating 12 of their last 14 games. However, they've had a tough time against the Suns, with only 1 win in their last 5 encounters. On the road, though, the Clippers have been formidable with a 6-2 record in their last 8 away games. The Suns, on the other hand, have had a rocky run against the spread, with only 3 wins in their last 16 games, but they've managed to clinch 4 out of their last 5 games straight up. Their home record against the spread is shaky, standing at 1-6 in their last 7 games, yet they tend to rack up high scores on their home turf, with 12 of their 18 games going over the total. Considering these stats, tonight's game looks like it'll be neck and neck, with the Clippers' offensive prowess clashing with the Suns' strong home game and defensive strategies. The prediction tilts towards a high-scoring showdown, with the Clippers likely to snatch a narrow win, but the Suns are expected to cover the spread with their home court advantage. My money's on the Phoenix Suns to beat the plus 3-point spread. The next prediction is for the match between Detroit Pistons and Utah Jazz. The Detroit Pistons, sporting a dismal 330 record, are about to ball against the Utah Jazz, who are holding court with a sturdier 15-19. The Pistons have been dropping the ball this season, barely scraping by with an average of 110.4 points per game. Their shot making is shaky, netting only 46.7% from the field and 34.0% beyond the arc. Their game's been plagued by turnovers too, coughing up the ball 16.4 times per game, while their defense is just running with the pack. The Utah Jazz, though, are bringing a stronger game to the court. They're racking up 113.79 points on average each game, with their field goal percentage trailing just a bit at 45-80%, but they're schooling Detroit from downtown, hitting 35.0% of their threes. The Jazz are also bossing the boards, snagging 46.18 rebounds per game, and dishing out more assists, averaging 27.56 per game. They've got the home court mojo working for them, tipping the scales in this face-off. Peeking at the recent trends, the Pistons are stumbling with a 4-9 record against the spread in their last 13, and their road games hit rock bottom with a 119 in the last 20 matchups. They've been getting schooled in away games too, zeroing out at 0-15 in their last 15. The Jazz, on the flip side, are riding a hot streak with a 6-0 against the spread in their last 6, and they're kings of their castle, rocking a 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 home games. Head-to-head, the Jazz have the upper hand, especially on their turf. Out of the last 15 face-offs with the Pistons, the Jazz have clinched 13 wins. And in Salt Lake City, they've got the Pistons beat with a solid 6-1 in their last 7 home games against them. Looking at the play-by-play and stats, the Utah Jazz are poised to dunk over the Detroit Pistons in this matchup. With their solid scoring, rebound dominance, and home court prowess, the Jazz are the odds-on favorites to not just win but also slam the spread. I'm laying my chips on the Utah Jazz to win, and I'm betting they'll cover the 7.5-point spread. The next prediction is for the match between Miami Heat and Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight's showdown at the Crypto.com Arena is set to be a scorcher as the Miami Heat gear up to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, despite hitting a rough patch with a 7-3 deficit in their recent showdowns, are ready to kick off a 5-game homestand, squaring off against the Heat, who are posting a decent 6-4 in their recent run. All eyes are on Miami's Jimmy Butler, nursing a foot injury, to see if he'll hit the hardwood. Meanwhile, Lakers power duo Anthony Davis and LeBron James are in the spotlight, given their sizzling stats lately. The Heat are facing a tough stretch. Dropping their last 2 matchups, they're itching for a comeback. Bam Adebayo's been the linchpin for Miami, racking up an average of 22 points and 10.4 boards over the last 10 games. On the flip side, the Lakers have Anthony Davis smashing the stats with 25.3 points and 12.3 rebounds, and LeBron James adding a solid 20.6 points per game during the same stretch. These heavy hitters could be game changers tonight. Stat-wise, the Lakers have the upper hand in scoring, throwing down an average of 114.2 points per game, and also outmuscle the Heat in rebounds and assists. But the Heat have the sharper aim from downtown, edging out in three-point shooting percentage, and they're slightly better in overall field goal accuracy. When it comes to head-to-head matchups, the Heat have a slim edge, taking 6 out of their last 10 face-offs with the Lakers, including a nail-biting 108-107 win last time. Notably, in their last 4 games on the Lakers' turf, the score has been evenly split. The word on the street is the Lakers are the favorites tonight, but it's shaping up to be a tight game, possibly hinging on a few clutch plays or standout performances. Wrapping it up with both teams' recent forms, stats, and star plays in the mix, the scales tip a bit towards the Lakers clinching a win in this down-to-the-wire clash. However, considering how fiercely competitive both squads are, expect a heartstopper. That's why I'm banking on the Miami Heat to beat the plus 7-point spread. The last prediction for today is for the matchup between Orlando Magic and Sacramento Kings. Tonight's hardwood face-off between the Orlando Magic and the Sacramento Kings is gearing up to be a real barn burner. Both squads are hitting the court with neck-and-neck records, the Magic at a solid 19-14, trailing the Kings, who are hot on their heels, at 19-13. This matchup's got all the makings of a thriller, especially with Orlando's slight edge in shooting the rock from the field at 47.39%, just nudging past Sacramento's 47.50%, but don't sleep on the Kings' sharp shooting from downtown, boasting a solid 36.72% over Orlando's 33.23%. Crashing the boards, the Magic are pulling down an average of 43.66 rebounds a game, just squeaking past the Kings' 43.42. When it comes to dishing out assists, Orlando's at a respectable 24.88, but Sacramento's got the upper hand with a slick 28.55 average. These numbers are painting a picture of a showdown where every possession counts, and both teams are bringing their A-game. Looking at recent trends, the Magic are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7, but only 3-7 in their last 10 straight up. The Kings, meanwhile, have been keeping it low, with 5 of their last 6 staying under the total. But when these two clash, the script flips. The last 8 matchups have all gone over. In their last 10 face-to-face battles, Orlando's been holding court, bagging 8 wins and covering the spread in 7, especially in Sacramento, where they've taken 3 out of the last 5 and covered the spread just as often. Seems like the Magic's got some mojo working when they play in the King's Castle. Both teams are coming off back-to-back games, which could throw a wrench in the works. The Magic have only clinched 2 wins in their 6 doubleheaders this season, while the Kings haven't found their rhythm in any of their 4 back-to-back sets. This gives Orlando a slight edge in managing the grind. On the injury front, Orlando's bench is feeling the pinch without Joe Ingles, Jonathan Isaac, Kevin Harris, and maybe Markelle Fultz. Sacramento, in contrast, is looking fit and fine. This could tilt the scales, with the Kings possibly exploiting the Magic's weakened lineup. Taking all this into account, the matchup's looking like a deadlock. But considering Orlando's knack for beating the spread lately, their track record in Sacramento, and their slightly better show in back-to-backs, I'm leaning toward giving them the edge. Their history of outpacing expectations, especially on the road, might be the game-changer here. So, here's the scoop. It's going to be a down-to-the-wire, all-out battle on the court, with the Orlando Magic just squeezing by for the win and beating the spread. These guys have shown some serious grit in back-to-back games, and their track record in Sacramento speaks volumes. They've got this knack for stepping up when the pressure is on. I'm laying my chips on the Magic to come through and cover that plus 5-point spread. It's their resilience and their history of showing up big in Sacramento that's going to tip the scales in their favor in this nail-biter.